It's a pleasure to be back with you. It's good to be back up in Wetumpka. I've been coming to Wetumpka for a long time, even before I moved to Montgomery as Ag Commissioner. I know many of you know Art Faulkner, who was your director of 911, and I can tell you, he was a big help to me when I was building the 911 system in DeKalb County. So I've had a relationship with this community and certainly individuals here for a long time. Before I have any kind of prepared remarks, I would like to say it's an honor to serve with Governor Bentley. It was an honor to run for governor. But folks, the race is over. And I want to do everything that I possibly can to carry out his agenda and the ideas that he has, and I have, and you have, to try to make Alabama a better place to live. You and I both know that we're going through some trying times, that we've got to have an imagination. We've got to look at every resource we possibly can to make things work in Alabama. And that's exactly what we're going to do at our office. There's not anything that we won't try to tackle. There's not any issue that we won't try to look at. There's not any business, regardless of how big or how small, that we will not try to help. That is our mission. That's what the governor has asked me to do. Being that I've worked in rural Alabama for the last 12 years at the Department of Agriculture, I think he understands that I have a relationship with rural Alabama and the people of rural Alabama and how important it is to our economy. So those are the things that we are going to try to do. And it's an honor to have one of your own that works with me. And that's Emily Laughlin. She's here with us today. She continues to work with me in the Black Belt Commission. It was the Black Belt Action Commission. But they've done a lot of good work of just reaching out and finding resources, whether it be with education, small industry, healthcare, and those kind of things. And that's what we're going to continue to do, is build coalitions and work together. And for one thing that we're not going to do is to try to tell people we know more about your region and we know more about your community than you do. But the one thing that we might be able to help people do is connect those dots. You know, there's a lot of folks that don't know how to get the services that maybe the state of Alabama has to offer. Or maybe they don't know what programs are available in Washington, D.C. Or maybe if they're wanting to start up a new business, they don't know which way to go or what to do. Or if they're wanting to add 5 or 6 people into their new business, which way to go. We hope to be able to be that resource and to help anyone that has an issue. We want it, and we're willing to work. And we've been extremely busy in the last few weeks. We've been extremely busy traveling across Alabama. I just come back yesterday. I spent 2 days up in the northwest corner, up around Brilliant, Alabama, Winfield, Alabama, Ewan, Alabama, Vernon, Alabama, looking at buildings and industries that have left that area, and looking and talking to the elected officials of what we need to do to prepare to try to bring folks back to that area. But not only that area, folks, we've got those kind of issues all over the state of Alabama. In my hometown, it's sad every time I drive back to my city. My hometown used to have 6,000 sock jobs. My grandmother stood at a podium about like this for 43 years and paired socks. My mother stood at a hosiery mill machine for 35 years, made those socks. I started out in the hosiery mill bleaching those socks. A lot of lives, a lot of education, a lot of heritage, but they're gone. And we've got to find a way to retrain and to change the focus and stay positive. How do we re-energize that community? We got to pick off the positives, not the negatives. The sock mills are gone. We got to get over that. The industries in the north are gone. The industries down in the south, they're gone. We got to figure out how do we energize, how do we bring new industry in, and how do we focus and live in the global world that we live in today. And that's by working together. And I can tell you, it's impressive to walk in here in a small town of Wetumpka, Alabama, and and look out over this audience and see the number of people that's willing to come to a luncheon on a Wednesday and work together the way you're working together. That's how you get it done. You know, while I was running my campaign, I was in North Alabama and I was visiting with a group of folks from the Redstone Arsenal. And the Redstone Arsenal is extremely important to that region, about 40,000 jobs. But early on, during the Redstone Arsenal days, they were not very successful. They didn't get some of the BRAC realignments. They just wasn't successful. But they began being successful. And I asked the question, how did you become successful in this area? Somebody spoke up and said, let me tell you, Commissioner, this is how we became successful. By speaking with one voice. You've got to bring regions together. You've got to bring communities together. I can remember when I served as commissioner in North Alabama. I was 24 years old. I lived in the valley, but we had what we call the sand mountain. And we always had the Mountain Valley turf. They always had the Mountain Valley pool. The folks on the mountain didn't want anybody in the valley to have anything. The folks in the valley didn't want anybody on the mountain to have anything. And you know what happens? None of us get anything. But once they decided that it's time to start working together, and reach out and realize that if we get an industry in Rainsville, it's good for Fort Payne. That if we get an industry in Tallahassee, it's good for Wetumpka. Those are the kind of mindsets that we've got to have. And that's what the governor has charged me to do, is to get out and work with people, keep that positive message. Even though we're going through some of the toughest times in the history of this state, from a financial standpoint and a legislative standpoint, if we look at our glass as half full rather than half empty, if we're continuing to reach out and work together and use the new technology that's out there and available, then we're going to survive. And when we survive, we're going to come back stronger than we've ever been in the history of this state. But there are some priorities that we must look at. There's a lot of challenges out there, ladies and gentlemen. We have plenty to do. If you're looking for challenges and you're looking for things, negative things, we got plenty to do. But we go into them with a positive mind, just as we do with the Black Belt Commission, just as we do with other regional commissions, of trying to find that common ground and goal, trying to find that dot that we can connect to make something positive happen, and working together. One of the places that I always like to talk about, if you'll go and study it, North Carolina, in my opinion, has captured the market in working together. North Carolina has been able to have a vision and look out there and bring folks together. And talking about rural Alabama and rural North Carolina, I've visited North Carolina, and they've done some remarkable things. And hopefully we can copy some of those things and bring some of the success that they've had maybe to Alabama. But we've got to set those priorities, break down some of those barriers that are out there, and bring people to the table and talk about things that really matter. I don't have a hidden agenda. My agenda is the governor's agenda. A lot of folks don't realize that Governor Bentley and I became very close friends at the very beginning of this campaign. Governor Bentley's a good man. He's a good man with a good heart. But when you're in politics, you have to sort of understand it. He had his agenda, I have mine. And you have the opportunity to speak. But you know what? Today, we have the same agenda. And that's to make life for people of Alabama as well as we possibly can through the tough periods of time that we can.